Fitness Pro Mentors community, welcome to another episode of the Fitness Pro Mentors podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Green. I'm very excited because today we are doing a live Ask Me Anything. So if you were listening to this in the future, these are questions that some were pre-submitted to me, and I'll be answering live questions all around your personal training business. And I'm very excited because I got some really great questions that are all geared towards helping your business blow up and grow, some technical, and then also I even got one great question about larger scale gym ownership stuff. So I've seen these questions. I have not prepared pre-vetted answer. I want the answers to be as organic as possible. If you are in the Fitness Pro Mentors Facebook group right now, please type live questions and I'll give you a shout out because you all deserve to be heard. And I want to make sure that your questions around your fitness business, 2 to 3xing your personal training business is happening. And honestly, I want to make sure just to reinforce that we are not fluffing it. We actually have lots of social proof of people who've done this. And just in the last week, 2 great examples. We had one trainer, one specialist, I should say, go from the $3,500 a month to $8,000 months in 4 weeks, and then another one in 6 weeks, 3x their business to being too busy, Mr. Christian Brown. So if you want to talk and you want to try and get your business as busy as possible, please send me a message and I would love to see if I can give you anything free or something more specific to help you blow up your business. But first and foremost, let's get to some questions. One of our students, Mr. Ahmed, asked me a question about books. Books are great. I love books. And he asked, what business-related books do you recommend for personal trainers? And then also, what technical books do you recommend? Now, business books, I got a couple great suggestions, and I'm really excited to kind of go through these. First and foremost, if you are someone who's trying to just get into developing your offer and becoming an established personal trainer, there's a great book that I was recommended to by another student, Mr. Sam Trotta, by Seth Godin, called Purple Cow. And it's really neat because it's this unique way of looking at a purple cow is a very unique offering. And so if you can create something with your business that is the purple cow, that is hard to ignore, that is differentiated in the market, he does a great job of talking about things that you can do and also how trends have changed over the years, that you can't as easily be a purple cow with things that used to work in the past. So that's a great one, Purple Cow. Another Seth Godin book that I am in love with is Tribes. If you haven't heard, go away microphone. If you haven't heard of Tribes, I would definitely recommend checking it out. When we interviewed Mr. Mark Magna, he talked a lot about culture and how culture is everything. Well, truth is, and you are a part of this community, developing a community that's all around a brand, a message, an ideology, but also consistent wins. It's just imperative. And Tribes does a really great job of talking about the idea of that you don't need a gigantic fan base to blow up your business. In fact, a good friend of mine is a professional drummer, and I've talked about him a couple times, and I've been helping him with his business over the last 6 or 7 weeks. And his business has nearly 3x'd very fast. Huge numbers for him. And the reason why he's had all the success is because he didn't have any business systems in place, but because he was a professional drummer, he already had tens of thousands of followers. So for him, he already had the tribe, and it's just learning how to convert that tribe. For many of you, how do you curate the tribe? Because lots of you have sales and integration processes that are just game-changing and really gangbusters. So Purple Cow, Tribes. Another book that has been really revolutionary that I would definitely recommend you check it out, and I am super biased, I've talked about it a few times, and I've got it just sitting over there from a business end, is Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Offers. Honestly, understanding the offer of what you provide as a personal trainer is critical. If you're selling a product, a service, no matter what you're selling, it's critical. Even one of my family members reached out and said, hey, I'm starting a business. What do you think I should start with? And it starts that you need to know who your audience is the offer, and does the audience even make sense? If your audience isn't a scalable audience that has the resources to afford that what you have, that don't have a need, they're not easily targeted, you're going to be in a big pickle. So $100 million offer, it's like a $10 book. I bought both the audio book and the physical book, and it's just game changing to know what it is that you're selling. Almost like, we sell exercise experiences. Yeah, that's a big part of it, but truth is when we're advertising it, we just can't sell the idea of the experience. We need to literally have people experience the experience through all of our content. And once we have that, and with the mechanics of our offer, it makes things game-changing. So if I had just 3 books, at least the business end, I've got so many, but $100 Million Offers, Tribes, and Purple Cow for sure. And you know what? Curtis Clay recommended me Grant Cardone's 10X. Really recommend that as well too. I'm not typically one for motivational hoorah-rah books, but Grant Cardone, how much he's done, he's got a really great way of delivering knowledge and information to get you excited and fired up. So many times that I'd be talking to myself in my car, thinking about something, and then the book would be playing, and the audiobook would just answer my question because he said gives away so much great stuff. So $100 million offers and 10X, great books. Technical books, if you're an exercise scientist or someone who embodies that role, or personal trainer, fitness professional, muscle system, whatever you call yourself, however you identify, there are some books that are staples that are really, really game-changing. Joint Structure and Function is a staple if you've taken RTS. Really, Norkin and Levangie, incredible book. My favorite book is still, which one my late mentor Peter Chason recommended me, was the green Norkin and Levangie book, second edition. I think it was like $2 on ABE Books. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, Ahmed, no problem. He's here. And he says, thanks, Brandon. Ahmed, absolutely. If you got another question, Ahmed, fire it off and I will happily answer it live. Joint Structure and Function by Norkin and Levangie is a brilliant book. The Kapanji manuals, I'm super biased to those biomechanically. It gets you to think about joint axes and force vectors and which direction skeletal muscle is producing force and the magnitude. It really is an interesting book to start helping you visualize the consortia of muscles that are stacked on top of one another to produce aggregate movement, and helps you augment individual muscles. I love it. There's another book that I have literally sitting right there as well. Roger Anoka has created a series of different books, all in the vein of like neuromechanics, neuromuscular performance, and I can't remember the name in front of me, but if you look at Roger Anoka, even the older books, I have one book that's a textbook that was $150 originally. I bought it for $10 used from a university, and it's brilliant. My post-activation potentiation course, which I had a question about that, there's a bunch of information that I learned from that book that helped me find studies to ask more questions about things like post-contraction sensory discharge, short-term and long-term potentiation. It's a really, really great book. I will say this, though, if your question on it is about technical, none of those books taught me like technical exercise, like full disclosure. Tom Purvis's resistance training specialist program, and I've taken it countless times. Every time I've taken one of those courses with a different course instructor, be it Charlie McMillan, Peter Chason, or Tom, or iterations with other people, it's just been an eye-opening experience. And throughout the time, Neuromechanics of Human Movement, thank you so much. The great book. The resistance training specialist program consistently has helped. So there's a great quote from the PAP course, and it really talks about how the best thing that you can do is harbor the most amount of skills and then get really, really good at being creative with that. Well, what I would say is that's where I love learning more advanced anatomy stuff, learning more about physics, and then going into the gym with a bunch of like-minded, biomechanically minded folks to really challenge ourselves, because you learn a new theory, a new idea, a new concept, and then you go in the gym and you can kind of start to be creative with it, and it really helps to hold on to that. So I would say, honestly, Tom Purvis's program, any iteration of that from exerciseprofessional.com has been just game-changing for sure. Excellent. Thank you so much. And so that book that I was trying to remember from Roger Anoka is Neuromechanics of Human Movement. So thank you so much. Again, if you're just tuning in live, please ask any questions about anything that you would like as it relates to business. Hey, it's Rob. Thank you so much for that, Rob. Really, really appreciate it. So the next question I had was kind of like more of a personal question, which I'm really, really honored to have asked. And it was, how do I personally manage a full business and an education company? And this starts to kind of get to grandiose ideas, but helps to kind of grind home some of the things that we've talked about in this podcast, the Minds on Muscle show with Glenn, things I've talked about, and then really our mentorship as well. For me, one of the things that we teach in our leadership mastermind, which is exclusive to gym owners and people who are looking to really become leaders in their community, is how to have RAD systems: reduce, automate, and delegate. I live my life this way, in that anything that I love to do, enjoy, or creates money or revenue for me, or helps me go a further direction with anything, be it drumming, fitness pro mentors, strategy support, my relationship, like all of that, is how do I look at all the things that are required to achieve my objectives, be it financial, number of clients, status, being able to play certain rhythms on the drum set. There's drums over there, whatever that may be. And I try to figure out, okay, of the things that are on my plate right now, like this, how do I reduce them so they are not giving me noise and feedback and distracting me from my objective. A really great example of that I was doing a lot of from a marketing example is within Strata Internal Performance. I was doing for a long time, which many of you saw, I was doing hashtag Strata Quick Tips. And as I was getting into cinematography and learning more about videography, I was doing these videos and I was practicing short, concise sound bites. Every Friday I'd release a video on Instagram and Facebook of me in Strata trying to give a quick tip around a specific exercise to help solve a problem. Now, skill-wise, I got really good at being concise over expansive. I got really good at cinematography. I also got really good at doing a lot of videos within an hour, time-wise. But truth is, that whole thing, after the skill was acquired and I got a bunch of those videos, it brought really, really no leads. It was more just an equity building, an authority equity building exercise, activity. So I stopped doing that and I reduced it and I put my time towards other things, and it's been more beneficial trading that time to focus more on organic outreach and starting conversations with people. So that's reduction. Automating, I mean, a great example actually is this entire podcast setup. If any of you have checked out the actual tech setup I use, I would argue that if you're a home gamer or a recreational podcaster, it's a gratuitous setup. But for Fitness Pro Mentors, I go live about 6 to 7 hours a week in Zoom meetings, in group calls, consulting meetings, very expensive time trades where people are paying me quite a bit for my time and my expertise and the experience. And so for me, I can push one button, do this high quality experience that you're seeing now with high quality audio and a pro level camera. And so this is automated experience is all dropped down into just a simple button little bar here. So I can do a bunch of stuff very quickly and even go back to this intro screen and come back fast. So that's automating, and also automating internal systems. Like, for example, sales, like if someone calls the gym, I have that all automated with someone else, which also leads into delegating and taking things off my plate. So the reason why I would say this, and this is where the Fitness Pro mentorship has really set up a lot of people who've come through to make more money, but also help them scale to make more money and also take the things they learn and share it with other people. Everything in our FIST formula, which if you're looking for a personalized business system that you can learn the top layer of it right away, that I use to save over $60,000 in 9 months to open this gym and help me become a six-figure trainer, and many of my staff become six-figure trainers. Comment below, FIST, and I'll tag you. That video of what we do in the FIST formula that we teach in our mentorship helps trainers scale and grow fast. Many, like I told you, lots of success stories in the last few weeks. I'm inspired by that. But what's great about it is because we've compartmentalized into in-house activity, outbound activity, expert status, automations, each one of those buckets can be delegated. Like if you want to work on, like for example here in this gym, I have all of the activities to help us get more business outside of our organic automated pieces that are already working, delegated to staff members, and I compensate them for their time, and they also have compensation for generating leads. And so event organization and community development is streamlined out. Sales processes goes through one person and then is delegated amongst a team, and each team member has their own sales process. So it's great because Strata is relatively self-organized. They still do some larger than life town-related meetings and organization. But really, I've taken that FIST formula that I teach all of you. We've got it so streamlined that it works really, really well. We're getting double-digit leads every single month of high-quality people who are ready to spend money on us because our messaging is clear, and then I delegate it to other people so I can do Fitness Pro Mentors. And really, this is about the same kind of thing, is that I'm just really in love with helping people. And for a lot of the people that I love to help feel better, I started realizing that there are people like you internationally that are struggling to get your message in front of people. So I'm really passionate about Fitness Pro Mentors. But I will say that Strata, I got a solid client base. It's all automated. I have my systems in place that if someone has an issue with something, finances come up, I need another client, I know exactly what to do to fill my schedule at my higher price point. The gym is automated in that if we do nothing, we still get high quality leads because of the reputation we have. That's what you should be aiming for too. And then if we put extra effort in, we get a bunch of really, really high quality leads and help people get full really fast. Hence why we have so many full-time staff members. And because of all that automations, it allows me to work on an education company. without the hubris, egocentric dumping that I just gave you, the reason why I share all of that is you can do it too. If you want to teach for a company, you want to start your own thing, you've got a grandiose idea, you can do both. But the truth is you need one of the planets self-contained and orbiting on its own so you can move on and do the next thing. So Strata Planet is good. I can take a vacation for 2 weeks and come back, and there will be very, very little left for me to do. Especially, I just got to change a couple things, and we're really good to go. Fitness Pro Mentors is very codependent on my activity right now, but in the future, you'll see the same thing as it starts to scale and grow. So, great question. Honestly, and you can do all of that. Like, I've got compartmentalized time for my family. That sounds cheesy, but it helps me be 100% present when I'm with them. Playing drums and challenging myself rhythmically is super important to me. So I've got the same thing with the drums. I've got specific systems to help make sure I'm not wasting time, and I love it. Just the way I love it, because I feel like I can learn a lot of things real fast. Excellent. Please keep the questions coming. I absolutely love it. I had someone ask me, what is the fastest way to get clients? Super great question. Lots of feedback in this Fitness Pro Mentors group towards it. But if you're looking to get clients as fast as possible, I don't know where you are and who's asking this, but here's the Cole's notes of it. Let me wet my whistle quickly. So what you're going to do, first and foremost, you need to know who your client avatar is. I hate continuing to say that, but if you don't know who you're speaking to, you'll be wasting your time. Once you know that person and you know they can afford what you do, and you actually have a clear vision of them, and they are people who are struggling with aches and pains, and they've tried everything, and the short-term responses they get from therapies are working really, really well, but then long-term, it doesn't last. They're frustrated and annoyed, and they feel like that those changes are not going to be long-lasting, which means that they are worried about the quality of their life going forward. They're worried they can't pick up their grandkids. They're worried that they can't be active. They're worried that they can't power lift, which means they need resolution from someone like you, because exercise creates long-term changes. Hello. So, client avatar, messaging. Once you have those things and your messaging is super clear, you have to also consider there's this thing called the rule of 7. And I can actually even pull that up here really quickly. So the rule of 7, we just talked about it this week. Truth is, let's see if I can dump this quickly without losing me. There we go. Right. So this rule of 7 that is on the screen here, very simply, you need to be seen at least 7 times by a prospect before they consider making a purchase decision. Right. So that's kind of interesting, because if I have this rule of 7 on the screen here, right, you can see I have 7 different topics. I've got community, I've got website, I've got collaboration, I've got presentations, engagement, social proof, and social media. Now, these are very basic things that you can do to start being seen by different people. But let's say you have limited time and you want to get as busy as you possibly can. I will tell you, you need to get in front of people. Being a keyboard warrior will not work. It will be slow going, and it will be stressful if it's your only mode. I would tell you right now, if you were doing this, go and knock on every door of every chiropractor office, every physical therapist, and every massage therapist near you that has client avatars the same as you. If you're a weight loss demographic, go to nutrition clinics. Go meet the owners. Become their friend. Impress them. Give away your time and set up presentations in those places where those people are. Honestly, you go to a chiropractic office, you make a good connection, you do a presentation that doesn't compete with their messaging, and you help a bunch of people there. They have hundreds of people who are already committed versions of your avatar going to see them under one roof. And if that's the case, even if you're not great at doing this, if you go to multiple places and do high quality presentations in those places, if you go talk to 100 of them and you only get 10, and you go to these 10 places and you get 2 clients over 6 months, you have 20 clients and you are banging. Got to get in front of people. You have to go do presentations and educational stuff. So get really good at communicating, get in front of people, and make sure you have a compelling offer. Alex Hormozi's $100 million offer. Really recommend it. And honestly, if any of you are struggling with this, send me a message and I will tell you exactly, because there's someone I'm chatting with right now and I'm trying to help people like you. Rule of 7 talks about how many different places you need to go to be seen. And there's so many different options here, but I'll tell you, this is from our mentorship. Given away, right? We have communities. We've got a high quality website. We do collaboration, social media, social proof, engagement, and presentation. It's not just social media. It is not just billboards. You have to go talk to humans. Great. Cool. Thanks so much, everybody. That was a good one. Really appreciate that. I will tell you, get in front of people, and most people will get in their own way with this. You get in front of people, give away of something high value, you can have a great time. Have a really great time. Cool. I had a great question. When is the next post-activation potentiation preparation course? That is an awesome question. Full disclosure, as many of you know, I've got 2 kids, so my schedule's been a little bit crazy. I've been really focused on making sure our business product is perfect, and I want to make sure that it is so streamlined that people are getting great results, and it is pretty much there. I'm just cleaning up the last 2 modules of our PowerPoint to make sure the delivery is perfect, and there is absolutely no question of what you need to do to grow your business, and there's so many expensive high-level grifting masterminds and business workshops out there that we're going to just blow past that and make sure everyone's getting really awesome results. So I don't know when the next one's going to be, but I will tell you what, if you join our program, I am recording a high-quality version of post-activation potentiation right now. And if anyone is in our mentorship and they are interested in checking it out, I will give it to you for free. And if you are in the future and you're like, hey, I don't want to join the mentorship right now, but I'd love access, we will have a paid version of the recordings available on our fitnesspromentors.com website in the near future. Post-activation potentiation, very exciting stuff. I have one more big question, and I think that'll be a nice, concise way with the pre-answered questions. If anyone has any questions you want to drop live anymore, please let me know. But I had someone ask me, how do I approach hiring trainers? And I think this is a really cool one. I feel like I've had this discussion a few times lately. So just in case you're not familiar, I manage Jim, and the owner, CEO, if you will, of Strata Internal Performance, personal training gym in Newmarket, Ontario. And we've mustered a pretty good, solid, high-quality team. And when I talk to many of you, if you've gone through our program, I've got a bunch of different ideas and philosophies around growing a personal training team. Tom Purvis once shared a great idea that resonated with me forever when it came to clients, but it also extends to professional relationships. Everyone's awesome on their first date, right? People are wearing the push-up shirt. They got their tight shirt on to show off their muscles. They worked out the day before. They didn't eat for 3 days. They're listening and making eye contact, and their first date behavior is on the ball. They are selling themselves to try to make some sort of courtship with the person across them. Well, trainers are like this too. As you can tell, me and many people who are trainers are well-spoken. And that means probably decent salespeople. And it means if you sit down with them for a half-hour meeting, they're probably going to wow you and say all the things that you want to hear because that's what they do. I don't like that. I really don't like it because every time I've ever done that, those relationships have not worked out. It is the organic growth that has been the most game-changing experience. So if you're a gym owner or you're considering hiring your first hire, here's what I would encourage you to do. 1, set up a free series of study groups, not just one, but like 2 or 3 in a row that pyramids off of the previous. You can easily do squat mechanics, right? Squat mechanics intro, squat mechanics advanced, then squat mechanics, creative floor applications, right? So each week grows off of the prior. Make it so juicy that you are helping people with squats with back pain or squats for hypertrophy or squats for weight loss, something that hits a major emotional connection marker for most trainers and their clients. Cool. So we got this little study group. And why would a study group help? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to do it and give it away for free. And you're going to invite every trainer that you know, and you're going to go to gyms in your town, and you're going to look online and see what trainers are in your town that are awesome. Invite them to your place. When they're at your place, do the study groups. And what I love about this is if you take away the veil of, hey, I'm thinking about hiring, you'd be like, hey, I'm giving away some free education, would love to see what you think. You invite these trainers in, you perform the study group, and now you've kind of created this really unique scenario where you can see trainers in their natural habitat. You know what I mean, right? You start to do some education, and you see these trainers, do they show up on time? Do they show up late with a coffee? Do they show up and they're on their phone the whole time? Do they show up and they're listening and asking questions, right? How involved are people when they show up at your study groups? And so if you invite 20 people, 5 show up the first time and then 2 stay for the entire 3 study groups. And the 2 that are there are punctual and engaged the entire time. Well, now we're in an interesting position where the study group phenomenon has helped you see real behaviors, personality traits of people in your group. You got past that first date thing because you put people in an environment where there was 0 expectations and helped you start a conversation in a way that you may not have before. Now, at the end of this, maybe you're not like either of these trainers. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to come back. We'll try this again another time. Or you might like one of them and go, hey, you know what, Jane, I don't know if you're open to this, but I'd love to talk to you. Do you want to come grab a coffee? I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about the way you're doing training and just see how the squat presentation landed with you. And now you start entering into the natural interview process. Now you start doing, your interview, learn more about them, find out their objectives, find out their pains, and figure things out. But I will say this, and this is what's tough. If you look at me and you see Strata and Fitness Pro Mentors and you think, I have 2 companies. Really, I have 3 companies and maybe more, right? There is the company in Strata that is about client acquisition and fulfillment, making sure the clients have a good experience, make sure that they are getting their needs met and that they are getting the value. In Strata, there's also, right, so that is a health need. Then in Strata, I also have my trainer business. Are my trainers fulfilled, right? My trainers don't have health problems, mostly. Most of them have financial problems, pains, if they will, fears they can't afford their X, Y, and Z. So what I'm trying to do is, as a gym owner, I'm trying to make sure that my trainers have all of their needs met as well, just like a client, long term. So they're not going to think about going somewhere else. I provide so much education and value financially that they're not worried about going somewhere else, and companionship and community. And then Fitness Pro Mentors is the third company, which is a whole other thing. In any event, get past the first date scenario, create organic scenarios so you can actually tease out high quality relationships. Awesome, everyone. Well, that was a lot of fun. I want to keep this kind of short and concise. If any of you have any questions about anything that I talked about, please let me know. But I will say people are getting some cool results with the stuff we're doing, and I'm really excited about it. And I think a lot of you could really benefit from some of the things we're talking about. If any of you are interested in making a little bit more money and learning about some of the things you could do to take your business to the next level, please let me know. But if you like this and you're listening to this on Spotify or YouTube, please join the Fitness Pro Mentors Facebook group. I would love to meet you. I got a brand new book, 6-figure blueprint, to help scale your business. Love to share it with you. I'll talk to everybody real soon.